Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Mezco Toyz 112 Collective Netflix series Punisher figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
And a real quick look at the box. On the side, you can see the Punisher logo, Mezco Toyz logo. A couple of pictures of the figure on the back. Same thing on the opposite side. Let's get this bad boy open and see what's what. Alright, here we go. John Edward Bernthal as the Netflix universe's Punisher. I believe this is Mezco's second character from the Netflix universe. Unfortunately, we never got a Jessica Jones or a Luke Cage. Not sure if that will happen now that Netflix is done with the series. Maybe if Disney picks it up on their streaming platform, picks up any one of these shows on their streaming platform, we may actually get some more characters here from Mezco. I believe Mezco has done 2 Daredevil figures, maybe 3. I'm not 100% sure on that because I passed up on Daredevil. I didn't really care about Daredevil. Punisher appeared he first appeared in the 2nd season of Daredevil, and then he went on to have solo seasons. I just recently finished, which was, it was okay. But I do think John Bernthal's portrayal of the Punisher was very good. He was pretty much made for this role, and I do think that this figure looks very good. Now, my gripes with the figure come in with the articulation. I'm sure that's not going to be a surprise to most of you guys. All right, so let's get into his accessories. And I always say I'm going to look at the accessories and end up looking at the figure a little closer first. So, in keeping with that tradition, looking at the figure a little closer, you can see this head sculpt looks excellent. I think they did a really good job of capturing Johnny's likeness. Probably my only issue is I think maybe the hair on the top could have just been a little darker. Probably looks good on camera, but in person, I think it could have been just a shade darker. But again, the likeness here is pretty spot on in my opinion. And all of the deco looks very good. This sort of tactical outfit with the tactical vest, which is very form-fitting. And you can see some pockets and pouches. He can holster his gun and his knife. And this looks very clean, man. I don't really have any issues with the look of this figure. So, out of the package, he comes with 2 fists. He's got a set of open hands, and they're both molded slightly different, but obviously these can be used to hold items or support some of his larger weapons with the left hand. You know, whatever you want to do here. These look fine. Swapping them out was no issue. He's got a set of hands that are both cupped, but they both have an opening in them, so I assume these can be utilized to hold his knife, so I'm going to break that out real quick. Yeah, there we go. No issue with him holding that. Obviously, he can hold the knife in either hand, and you can flip it and put it the other way, and whatever you want to do as far as that's concerned. So all of the hands are a soft, sort of pliable plastic. That's how it's been on pretty much every Mezco figure since day one. So again, getting things into their hands, getting items into their hands is no problem. And I went ahead and sheathed the knife so you can see how that looks. No issues there. And then his final set of hands are a couple of hands with the trigger finger extended. So obviously he can dual wield his guns. He comes with a couple of guns, so I'll break those out. So he's packed in with a revolver. You can see it has a brown handle. I'm surprised that you can't actually open the barrel here. You know, that's a feature that they've put on most of the other guns as far as interchanging the clips on the other guns. Obviously, the revolver doesn't have a clip, but I'm really surprised they didn't actually add that feature. I was trying to open it. It seemed like you could open it. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'll mess around with it a bit more, but the revolver looks good. I don't really have any issues here. I feel like this is the first time we got a revolver for Punisher. No, that's not true. We got the big 357 Magnum with the comic-based Punisher. So revolver, obviously you can switch to either hand. And then he also has a pistol, which looks like it's a 45. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But this is operational as far as you being able to remove the magazine here. 1 second. There's that. And you can see a bullet right there at the top of the magazine. And you can actually work the slide on the pistol as well. So again, this adds to the fun factor, the playability, the realism. That's all really cool. And there is also one additional magazine that's packed in with them for his pistol. And the pistol could be holstered on his right side. So there's that. There's a little latch here that you need to pull up and release first, and then you can plug that back down. And I forgot to mention that he's also packed in with this little muzzle flare with the bullet right at the front of the flare. This is a classic Mezco pack-in with characters that use guns. So this can be plugged into the revolver, which I don't know if it's really meant to be plugged into there because that fit was kind of tight, but you can plug it into the to the pistol as well. And then his final accessory or his final weapon is this minigun, which we saw for the first time with the tactical suit Punisher, the tactical suit comic-based Punisher. I guess that was last year sometime. So this can actually spin. And then there is an additional muzzle flare that can be attached to this weapon. And this one is like a 3-round burst. So again, this was introduced for the first time when this weapon was first released with the tactical suit Punisher. And that looks great. And I called him the tactical suit Punisher, but it's really the special ops Punisher. There was a tactical suit Batman, but let me just label that right. But then there's also this little pack-in of the bullet chain. I guess that's what you would call this, and that can be attached here on the side. So that all looks cool. A bit more, it'll take some finagling to get it to look authentic, to get it to look right. I had that all wrong. This is how it should be held. He has another interchangeable head, so just taking a closer look at this one before I swap it out. And this one you can see one scar there by his right eye on his right cheek, and then another little scar by his mouth. And again, like I said, I think this looks very good. And for the record, this is the head and neck combo from Mezco here. So the entire head and neck pops out from the upper torso. We knew it would be this for quite some time. I'm pretty sure a lot of you, like myself, were a little annoyed by that because we wanted to maybe do some swaps with the comic-based Punisher. But honestly, they picked totally different bucks. So this buck is more suitable for Johnny's build, whereas the comic-based Punisher is more comic proportions anyway. But, all right, moving forward, looking at his other head. And there's a look at the additional head, which is fully battle damaged here. He's taken quite a few beatings throughout 3 seasons on Netflix. I mean, he's really, really been banged up. And, you know, this guy's a freaking psychopath, domestic terrorist, crazy person. He has definitely had his fair share of bumps and bruises. So he's got an open wound here on the side of his head, another scars on his nose, the scar in his mouth looks like it's open. Everything here is just open and fresh, basically. So these look pretty good. Maybe they could have given him a black eye or something like that added on here, but I'm not mad at this. It looks decent. And then his final accessory is his trench coat. I mean, I guess you could actually count his vest as an accessory too, because it is removable. So maybe I'll take that off and show you that before I get him all suited up with the jacket on. So similar to the comic-based Punisher, you can unlatch it here on the side, and then you need to pull off his head so you can get the vest off. And that reveals his form-fitting shirt. And I think this looks good with just the fatigues and the boots and the shirt. This belt is a separate piece, so you can adjust that as you see fit. I do think this body type is pretty good for Johnny here. Not bad. You know, it is one of the more slender bucks, and they're less articulated bucks as well. So you know what? Let me just go ahead and go over his articulation real quick while I have the vest off, because you're going to get a greater range of motion without the vest on, obviously. And there's the vest off, so you can see everything is attached, the sheath and the holster. That looks good. Obviously, you could take the gun and the knife out and just kind of put this on a mannequin or something like that if you want to do like one of his shop scenes or something like that when you're doing your setups. So that's cool. So real quick, in terms of articulation, head and neck, again, is one piece, so you're not going to get him to look up and down too far. He'll look down more than he will up, but left to right and a pivot is no issue there. I really don't like the head and neck combo, though, because it does limit the range of motion there. And then shoulders are on a ball joint. They're going to come up pretty far. Although the shirt is form-fitting, it does still have a little give to it, so you can get his arms up pretty far. you can get them all the way around before you, almost all the way around before you start to stress the shirt. There is no cut at the upper bicep, unfortunately. But you know, you do get a bit of rotation there on the shoulder. There is only a single jointed elbow that swivels, and that's one of my issues here. I really wish he had double jointed elbows. And there's a swivel and a hinge on the wrist. You do get a little bit of upper torso articulation and move him to swivel him around, move him left to right a little bit. There is a bit of ab articulation, but this entire upper torso is just not great to me, and I really wish they would introduce some new bucks in 2020. You can turn them at the waist a little bit as well, but you know, you don't want to get too crazy with this and have the shirt kind of mangled and coming out there. At the pelvis, I would assume there's like a T-joint there. His legs will come out pretty far. You know, you got some give in the pants as well. Upper thigh swivel. You do get a double jointed knee. I'm not sure if you're supposed to rotate here at the boot. It's not really moving, and I don't really like the way this boot is kind of set, so I kind of wish I could move it a bit, but I understand why they kind of put it in place. But you do get rotation here at the lower foot, and there is a pivot as well and a hinge. So it's decent range on the foot, and that's been one of my issues with Mezco, is the lack of ankle pivot on a lot of the figures. But you know, I really wish this articulation was a little deeper, and that's what you're going to get without the vest on. So with the vest on, there's going to be even more limits to what you can do. Of course, I'm always thinking about possibilities for kit bashing and just expanding my universe for displays and stuff like that. And I will say that this this buck with just this outfit would be cool. If you get a different vest that's not a Punisher themed vest, so it doesn't have the Punisher logo painted on it, this would make for a pretty cool goon if you were to get a couple of these figures. But you know, at 80, 90 bucks a pop, I don't know how many people would do that. I would get a couple maybe, but there are options here with this buck for sure. And there's a decent look at that. I got the jacket on, not really to my liking. Again, I need to finagle with this a little bit more, but it should be noted that there's bendy wire here on the seams in the front and on the collar, so you can flip the collar up or down. But I don't really like the way it's looking from the back right now. That's my issue. You can see his pistol kind of protruding from the back there. So maybe you might want to remove the pistol from the holster when you have the jacket on. But, you know, it looks good. I think maybe the jacket could have just been a little bit larger. I'm wondering if the comic-based Punisher jacket is a little larger. You know, the fit is good. It's just like I said, with the gun and the knife on, it looks a little odd. Let me take it off. Alright, and here's one quick size comparison, and I'm gonna get the heck out of here. I will explore all of the kit bashing options and utilizing weapons and accessories from other Mezco figures in another video. I just want to get this one out there and start my road back to recovery and getting things out on a daily basis. So look for a lot of content from me. In fact, I am just about halfway done with the next main course episode as far as editing that. And yeah, all right, I'm sidetracking. But on the left here is the Mezco Judge Dredd, and on the right is the comic-based Punisher from Mezco. So you can see how the body types differ there. And hot take here, I think the Mezco comic-based Punisher head sculpt is kind of trash, actually. The look of this regular one, you know, the Screaming version and the more battle damage one is cool, but this guy looks a little weird. And then we've seen customizers and people put out better, more accurately portrayed comic-based heads for this guy. But anyway, the Netflix Punisher is pretty good as far as the look is concerned. He's a very good looking figure. The articulation obviously leaves quite a bit to be desired. I'm a little uneasy about how the legs kind of move and how they look. He looks like kind of like, I don't know, slew-footed or something like that. But it's a solid offering. If you have the Daredevil, then you probably want Punisher. Again, I passed up on Daredevil, didn't really care about it, but you know, overall this is still one that I would recommend. And you know, with the kit bashing possibilities and stuff like that for ACBA, then it's a solid offering. All right, so I'll talk to you guys soon. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, peace.
Crispy.
I went through the whole review and didn't have him aiming his pistol. There you go. Bang, bang.